Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today TV. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is Market Today, a show where we'll help you understand the closing action on the D Street, starting from the benchmark index moves to sectoral action and all the stocks that are buzzing the most in trade. We'll also get you expert views to find out where exactly should you put your money as the markets inch towards all-time high levels. Well, it's been a fantastic trading session today, and the last half an hour is what we've seen the shift in momentum completely. Look at the benchmark indices. The Nifty, for example, it has not only topped the 18,800 mark in today's trading session, it has also seen a jump of over 154 points. It's just about 40 odd points away from its all-time high levels. At the day's high level at 0.8%, the Nifty is moving at 18,840 right now. The Sensex is up by 516 points. Again, a similar surge, 63,431. So the market's looking bright towards the day's end in today's session. The small caps continuing their momentum at over 1%. The mid caps is where the action has built up further. You're seeing more buying coming in. In the morning session, you saw about 0.4, 0.5% of gains coming in. That's where the momentum has built up. You can see now it's inching towards all-time high levels. In fact, it is at the all-time high levels of 35,185. The small cap 100 index has also touched its 52-week high level in today's trading session. Let's now also look at the sectoral indices and see where exactly is the momentum coming in from. In terms of the sectors, it's the Nifty Bank that's inched towards the day's high level. So you can see that spike coming in just in the last 15-20 odd minutes. You've seen that inching up towards the day's high level, 1.3%, and the Nifty Bank now inching closer to the 44,000 mark. The PSU banks also seeing gains coming through, 1.6% uptick, day's high level again for this index. Financial services, private banks also in tow. It's the private banks. If you see a very, very similar pattern with the kind of gains that you've seen on the private banks and on the Nifty Bank as well, the financial services too. So I believe it's financial services and private banks that have actually pulled the markets higher in today's trading session, especially the Nifty Bank as well. Now, when we talk about the other sectoral drivers as well, apart from the banking space, the IT sector was soft in the morning trading session. The realty space was also soft, but you can see momentum building up in the auto pack. Now it's inched up towards the day's high level, half odd percent gains coming in from that one too. It's the large heavyweights that are actually pulling up the markets higher. So barring the IT and the realty, rest of the sectors are handsomely in the green today. Of course, apart from the banking space, you're seeing momentum building up in the pharma, in metals as well. And of course, apart from this, you're also seeing healthcare index, the consumer durables also moving higher in trade. But let's look at the kind of heavyweight counters that have supported the sentiment. It's the HDFC twins, HDFC Life and HDFC Bank. Both of them have supported the market momentum. Look at HDFC Life, it's on the top gaining list on the Nifty index. SBI Life following suit, Dr. Reddy's as well. But apart from, say, HDFC Bank and HDFC Life, it's also Reliance Industries, for example, that's throwing its weight and pushing the markets higher in today's trading action. So that stock should not be missed. Reliance Industries right now at 25.76 at almost 1% uptick. So that's the heavyweight index that's pulling the markets higher in trade. But time to welcome our guest on the show. Sonam Srivastav joins in. She's the founder of Right Research. Welcome, Sonam, and thank you so much for taking the time out for this discussion. Help us understand what have you made of this sharp move in the last half an hour of trade in the markets today, and are we going to see, and now you're seeing slight profit booking taking shape as well. So are we going to stay some time away from the all-time high levels even now?
No, I think the mood in the market remains, very buoyant, and I think tomorrow again, we will see buying coming in. FIIs are, super excited about the Indian economy. We're seeing a lot of FII buying coming back, right? And the sectors that you can see rallying today, the banking sector, the capital goods are the fundamentally strong sectors in India. So I think the excitement is going to continue for some time, and the news coming from the US Fed is also not bad, right? Right now with the pause that they have taken. So I think it is quite exciting right now, and we are waiting for the all-time high.
Absolutely. So, your own thoughts amid this kind of a momentum, where should one really keep their focus? We're seeing the banking stocks really taking the lead in this kind of a move as well. So is that going to be what you would also prefer? And where exactly would your focus be in terms of the divisions like financials, private or PSU banks? Where would you advise investors to keep their focus?
Definitely. So I think banking is extremely interesting right now. It is fundamentally strong, plus it has corrected a lot in terms of valuation, right? If you look at the recent months, banking sector has not rallied as much as the other sectors. So it has a lot of scope to grow. And, with the news about HDFC Bank out, I think people are still understanding that, we will be able to buy it at a discount right now if mutual funds sell it. So I think, exciting times ahead for the banking sector. And on the other hand, if you look at the financial services sector also, right? So
Yeah.
not just the credit sector, but also the AMCs, the brokers, etc., are doing extremely well right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, our focus right now is tilted towards those players as well as the private banking space, right? I think that
Okay.
is, yeah.
Okay, so what do you really think of HDFC Bank from the banking space? Now, this stock has actually not participated. Finally, do you think the stock will start moving now? We're seeing some initial signs now coming in.
Yes, so I think definitely. So the valuation of the stock remains strong. The fundamentals remain strong. The only reasons why the stock corrected is because the MSCI changed the ratio, and recently because of the merger, some mutual funds are selling the HDFC Bank stock because of uh, you know uh, because they can only have 10% exposure to one group, right? So I think fundamentally it remains strong. It is at a discount right now, right? Given all that has happened to this stock, so I think there is a lot of opportunity for people to build up on their position in these group
Okay.
companies.
Okay. What about Reliance Industries? That stock is also up by 1%. Of course, the heavyweight stock, it's pushing its
Right.
weight, throwing its weight behind the kind of move that we've seen today. It's about 25.78 kind of levels that you're seeing. Your own targets for Reliance Industries, and do you think the momentum will continue from here on too?
Definitely. So Reliance Industries is again a diverse conglomerate, right? But given that major business, which is in oil and gas, we are seeing commodity prices are coming up because of the growth momentum going back into China and the rate cuts that have happened in China. So
Yeah.
I think Reliance Industry again has a good opportunity to grow from here. And talking about the price targets, we can expect 5 to 10% growth from here if the China story sort of pans out. And even otherwise, I think Reliance is a very strong story to bet on. But obviously, we have to be aware of whatever risk that lie given the global macroeconomic scenario as well.
Okay, so what percentage did you say is the kind of target rise that you expect from here?
So for Reliance, I said 5 to 10% is something that we
5
could
to 10
target from
percent.
here.
All
Yeah.
right. 5 to 10% surge can be actually expected on Reliance Industries even now. You can see it up by 1% right now at 25.78 currently. ITC,
Right.
that's another stock that's been investors' favorite the whole of this 2023 and in 2022 as well. We've seen a phenomenal rally in ITC, about 60-65% of kind of a move on the stock in the last one and a half years. And today again it has hit a fresh high altogether, 452, 1% uptick right now. It's inched towards its 6 trillion mark as well. Do you think
Right.
there is still steam left for this FMCG stock?
Definitely. So we've been betting on ITC's momentum for a very long time, I think, throughout this journey. And, ITC's position in the FMCG sector remains quite strong, right? They are one of the strongest company. And, things could improve for the FMCG sector if, the rates remain high and commodity prices do not rise up. So the commodity prices are low. So, ITC will be able to maintain a healthy margin, and the growth in the rural sector would also help ITC given that the inflation has corrected. So I think ITC is a very steady stock that we can rely on to do well in good or the bad times. So that's
And
what I
your
would say.
targets for ITC would be which ones?
So for ITC, I think in the long term, we can see, definitely a 10% odd
Okay.
growth. But in the short term, obviously we have to stay aware of, the short term correction that could happen.
Okay. What about the oil and gas space, Sonam? I mean, like, we're seeing stocks like MRPL, rallying about 8% today. We saw even BPCL moving. We've been seeing how crude has been supportive of late too. But oil and gas space as a whole, how would you advise investors to really approach this space?
Definitely. So I think the news coming out of China, right, is the main driver of this growth. Commodity prices have spiked up because China has cut rates and they want to now posted growth in their economy, and China being the biggest consumer of commodities tends to move the market. Similarly, I think Saudi Arabia has also put on their regulations to hike up, oil and gas prices. But obviously these things tend to remain quite volatile, so we have to be careful about it, given that the rates in the US are extremely high, right? So the commodity prices might not, in fact, spike up as expected with this news event. So I would say that we have to be a little bit careful about this sector, but in the short term, obviously, there's an opportunity that seems to be forming, right?
Okay, but we discussed banking as a theme where you are positive. Which are the other themes that one should bet on now that the markets are near their all-time high levels? Even if we see that magic number of 1.4 times 8 getting crossed on the Nifty, what beyond that? Where should investors be really putting in money in case the markets reach those levels too?
So banking, financial services is quite exciting. Similarly, you have infrastructure, capital goods, and those sectors which seem to be rallying today as well, right? Those seem to be going through a growth spike, right? Infrastructure projects in India are getting cleared at a rapid margin, and stocks in that sector are going through a capex cycle. So I think that's very positive. Similarly, if you look at the new age stocks, right, we have seen a tremendous rally happening in Paytm and Zomato, which is quite exciting. And
Yeah.
those stocks tend to be forming like a very strong story right now. I would be
Okay.
quite excited for those stocks.
In fact, I was going to come to that itself. We've been seeing a built up around these new age technology stocks. So I'm glad that you really pointed that out as well. And you're looking at these particular stocks too. I mean, like on the one hand, we've been noticing a trend on the Nifty Digital Index. Now, this index really tracks the India's digital theme. And it, when it was formed in 2022, it had actually seen a correction of about 30 odd percent because of the
Right,
underperformance of the new age tech stocks like Zomato, Nykaa, Info Edge, and even tier 1 tech stocks and IT companies like TCS, HCL
right,
Tech, and Infosys as well. But off late, what we've seen is that, and on this index, by the way, Zomato, InfoEdge, and Nykaa, they command anywhere between 5 to 8.5% kind of weightage on this index as well. But in the recent trading sessions, what we've seen is that there is an attempt to break out of a consolidating range, and Zomato, which has rallied about 45% in the last 2 months, has propelled this index higher. We've also seen how stocks like FSN e-commerce and PB Fintech have also contributed to a surge, in the kind of recent months, and that's propelled the index higher. On the other hand, it's the mutual funds that have been betting big on these new age technology stocks as well. Even in the month of May, what we found is that Zomato, Nykaa, and PB Fintech, these were among the top bets of mutual funds in the month of May. Your own thoughts on the way investors should be approaching these stocks now. In today's trading session, Zomato has slipped below 75. But I do remember seeing that, about 77, 78 kind of levels right here. It also briefly touched that 80 mark too. And most of the brokerage houses are also initiating coverage on this space. Are fortunes really changing for this sector as a whole?
No, I think that's quite true, right? These stocks corrected in 2021 because of the valuation worries, right? We were entering a bear market, a volatile time, and these stocks corrected because they were highly valued. But what has happened right now is that all these stocks have started delivering in terms of revenue growth, in terms of improving their margins, and the path to profitability remains visible in the near term, in the next few years, right? So I think this is an extremely exciting theme, right? If these stocks can turn around their valuations, right, so they become favorites of brokerage houses that they're already becoming. So I think it's a very exciting theme, and I would be quite positive about it. This sector, especially because the FIIs are also coming in and buying, and mutual funds are supporting it, and there seems to be a very, very positive, secular story about this.
Do you also see, improving earnings metrics as a factor that investors should now be looking at these stocks positively?
Definitely. So I think that's the primary reason why these stocks have been rallying. The earning metrics have improved, and I think we have to watch out for those metrics going forward, right? If these stocks can continue to compound on that growth, I think that's when the volatility happens. And if they don't deliver, you might see some corrections here and there.
So, Sonam, which will be your top picks from this basket from the new age space?
So I think there are quite a few exciting stocks. Obviously, Paytm is doing extremely well, and Zomato is a favorite among, I think, a lot of fund houses. Apart from them, we are seeing a lot of exciting opportunities happening in a few smaller stocks as well, right? So we have Zinsar Tech that has done quite well, right? We have Cyient that has done quite well, MapMy India, right? So there are quite a few stocks in this basket that you could be extremely excited about, and we are
Okay.
closely watching it.
So what would be the targets from your side for, say, a Zomato and Paytm?
I think the targets, given the amount of buying and the positive response coming from institutional investors, I would expect, these targets to be, double digit or, on the higher side. Obviously, we also received a news that SoftBank is selling shares in Paytm and Zomato now, right, in the open market. So that might bring on some correction for these stocks, but I think in the near to long term, there's
But
a lot of potential for these
so
stocks.
do you think Zomato at 74, if somebody buys right now, can actually aim for a target of 100 rupees or so?
I think that is achievable, but that would totally depend on the earnings coming out of Zomato in the next quarter,
Sure.
right?
Sure, absolutely. Even for Paytm, we've seen a surge of about 90 odd percent from its all-time low
Right.
levels as well. How much more potential would this stock have? Can it really reach the IPO levels and then beyond it as well?
I think definitely, and again, like similar to Zomato, the numbers would govern its future, right? Like the totally everybody on the street is just watching for the profitability numbers, and I think they are delivering on it. And if they can do that, then we can see, massive, massive growth from it.
Okay, well, thanks a lot,
Yeah.
Sonam, for being with us on the show and discussing with us all those insights. Looking at the markets again, about a 426 points of a surge, 63,345 currently for the Sensex. The Nifty is trading at 18,814. So looks like after touching that 18,830 odd levels or so, we are seeing some profits being booked off the table. We're just about 10 minutes away from the close. Looks like today might not be the day when you could see those all-time high levels and that magic number of 1 and 4 times 8 on the Nifty. But still, the good part is that the markets are attempting to, touch those all-time highs yet again. When will it happen? Nobody knows. But at this point in time, lots of opportunities emerging for all the investors at large as well. Many thanks for tuning in, but do stay tuned on to Business Today TV to catch all the updates from the world of business and stock markets.